All right, let's get one thing straight. The advice to focus on one thing is outdated, limiting, and honestly, complete bullshit for most young people. This is because the average person has around 6 to 8 main interests, and this could be things like lifting weights at the gym, reading books, working on a project car, traveling, eating healthy, coding apps, or even making social media content. But they typically only get to seriously pursue 2 to 3 of these hobbies due to life getting in the way. For example, someone who travels frequently might not be able to eat healthy all the time because they have to resort to pre-packaged airport foods. Or someone who is working on a project car has to work a job to be able to afford the car parts and modifications, which takes away time from other hobbies like going to the gym. And this endless loop of abandoning goals because you have to focus on another area of your life is an unfortunate truth that we all have to accept at some point. That in order to excel in one area of life, you have to sacrifice another. And it also doesn't help that we're constantly told growing up that it's impossible to do it all. Focus on one thing. You can't excel at everything. A jack of all trades is a master of none. These limiting beliefs have become so ingrained in our culture that we've accepted them as truth. But what if everything you've been told about focusing on a single passion is wrong? For me personally, I used to be absolutely paralyzed by the number of things that I wanted to do, like go to the gym consistently, sports practice, keeping good grades in school, reading more books, writing a newsletter every week, recording a YouTube video every other week, writing 3 tweets a day, replying to 50 of other people's tweets a day. And this list just felt endless to the point where I'd opt for instant gratification activities like scrolling on TikTok. It just felt like every time I devoted myself to one area, I felt guilty about neglecting the others. My computer was filled with half finished projects, my notebook was littered with half baked ideas, and my head was filled with bucket list hobbies that never made it out. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because you might be able to relate to this exact same thing of trying to pursue too many things at once. But the truth is, history's most successful people weren't specialists. They were polymaths. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't just a painter, he was a scientist, an engineer, a theorist, and an architect. Benjamin Franklin wasn't just a founding father, he was a writer, inventor, diplomat, and a scientist. Aristotle wasn't just a philosopher, he was also a writer and also a scientist. Even today, people like Donald Glover is an actor, writer, and a musician. Elon Musk is a businessman, engineer, and now a political figure. Shaquille O'Neal is a Hall of Fame athlete, businessman, and a sports analyst. The most interesting and impactful people don't limit themselves to a single passion. They've discovered a system for balancing a multiple interests without burning out. What these modern day polymaths, if you will, understand is that the human brain isn't designed for endless single focused work. It thrives on variety, connections between domains, and strategic shifts in attention. The key isn't choosing one passion, it's learning how to juggle multiple passions effectively. And this past month or so, I've been experimenting with a new lifestyle framework that has been allowing me to 10x my progress through a weekly system that dedicates at least 90 minutes of focused work to 5 different domains. And it's transformed my life from scattered to what what I like to feel as like more strategic and a little bit more organized. And in this video, I'm going to share exactly how you can do the same. The advice to pick one thing and stick with it made sense in the industrial age, where specialization was the path to job security. But in today's rapidly evolving world with the rise of AI, the rise of a bunch of content creators trying to build a personal brand, a bunch of random young adults and teens trying to start a business like myself, with the rise of all these different things, adaptability and cross-domain thinking is what makes you stand out. For example, here's what happens when you try to limit yourself to one passion. You feel a constant sense of FOMO about the paths not taken. You burn out faster because variety is what keeps work interesting. You miss the innovative ideas that come from combining different domains. You become vulnerable to disruption or being replaced in your specialization. You sacrifice the unique perspectives that comes from diverse interests. The secret to the polymath advantage is what I call it, is understanding that time isn't your most limited resource. Attention is. When you learn to direct your attention strategically, 90 focus minutes can produce more results than 8 hours of scattered effort. But most people approach multiple interests by bouncing from activity to activity. They basically just say, oh, I'll do it when I have free time. And they keep on doing this with no clear structure. And then they wonder why they're exhausted and making minimal progress. But this polymath approach is different. It's not about long stretches of time, it's about intensity, consistency, and strategic connections. And when you implement this system, you'll realize that pursuing multiple passions actually makes you more focused rather than making you feel like you're more distracted. This also isn't just motivational fluff either. Like there's actual neuroscience that backs this up. When you work across different domains, you strengthen neural pathways and build more robust mental models. You create what psychologists call cognitive scaffolding, which are just mental structures that support and accelerate learning by connecting ideas across different disciplines or different areas of your life. And the stronger and more connected your knowledge is, the easier it becomes to learn new things, solve problems, and transfer skills between subjects. Like just imagine trying to hang a new idea on a wall, and a wall in this case represents your brain. And if that wall has a strong scaffold, or in this case, previous knowledge, the idea will stick better. And the more scaffolds you have, the faster and more deeply you learn. And so I know that I've been yapping a lot. So before I actually break down each step, let me address the biggest objection I hear. 90 minutes isn't enough to make real progress. People that say this often have a mindset that assumes meaningful progress requires long, uninterrupted stretches of time. But in reality, consistent, focused bursts of effort compound dramatically over time. For example, 90 minutes of deep work daily adds up to 547 hours per year. And that's enough time to write a novel, learn a new language to conversational fluency, master the fundamentals of coding, become proficient at a musical instrument, and build a successful side business, all from just 90 minutes a day. And so, step one of this polymath approach thingamabob that I'm calling it is to find your true five through an interest audit. And so, even though you might be reading this thinking that you'll be able to pursue 1 million different interests simultaneously, that's not exactly how it works. Because this common misconception is what leads to the hobby graveyard, a collection of abandoned projects and half learned skills. And so instead of actually having all of these ideas that never actually make it out of your brain, you have to conduct a thorough interest audit. And so the first step to doing that is to list every interest, hobby, or skill you're curious about, and then rate each on 3 scales from 1 to 10. Joy, so how much happiness and fulfillment it brings you. Growth, how much it helps you develop. Impact, how it might benefit others or your future. And then the third step is to calculate the total score for each interest. And then select the top 5 scoring interest, and then commit to these 5 for the next 90 days before re-evaluating. This also isn't about permanently ditching your other interest. It's just about creating focus for a defined period. And you can also rotate interest seasonally. So for the first quarter of the year, you could do like coding, and then the next you could do like book writing or some shit. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, really. And then the second step is time blocking. So most people's approach to scheduling multiple interests is like fundamentally flawed. They try to find extra time for their passions after fulfilling all other obligations. But here's the harsh truth that I had to learn the hard way. There is no extra time. We are all given the same 24 hours, and as cringy as that line sounds, it really is how you make use of those 24 hours. And the polymath approach flips this entire idea of looking for extra time on its head. Because when you're acting as a modern day polymath, you don't find time for your passions. You just make it a non negotiable. You identify your peak energy periods during the day, so morning, afternoon, evening, night. Assign each interest to the energy level it requires, so high, medium, or low. And then every week, create 5 90-minute blocks for each interest at least 1 to 3 days in the week. So, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday has time blocks set for the gym and content creation, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday has time blocks set for pickup basketball and coding. And then you treat these blocks as sacred appointments with yourself. The key is consistency over frequency. Like, it's better to have one deeply focused 90-minute session per week for each interest than to dabble inconsistently. And then step 3 is cross pollination. And this is where the real magic of the polymath happens. Instead of treating your interests as separate worlds, look for connections between them. Identify elements that are similar and find areas where they overlap. So create a little connection map, either physically or digitally, between your 5 interests. Identify at least one project that combines 2 or more interests. Schedule monthly cross pollination sessions where you deliberately bring insights from one domain to another, and keep a cross domain insight journal or online document slash note to track ideas that jump between interests. And by finding these intersections, you can make progress on multiple interests simultaneously. Like me, for example, I have found that consuming like good content, like reading books and listening to podcasts, like I could take those ideas that I learned from the content that I consume and turn them into YouTube videos. Like that's what I'm doing right now. Like I first learned about this whole idea of a modern day polymath from this one video from this dude Odysseus, where he was just talking about being a modern day polymath or a digital renaissance man, whatever it's called. And I just took that idea, implemented it into my own life, got results, and now I'm turning those results into a YouTube video to help you get results. And so, step 4 is understanding the progress principle. The biggest killer of multi passionate momentum is the feeling that you're not making meaningful progress. And the solution is to just clearly define what constitutes a win in each area. So, for each interest, define 3 levels of progress: minimum viable progress, so what's the smallest meaningful step; standard progress, what represents solid advancement; and then breakthrough progress, what would be exceptional movement. And just set a clear deliverable for each 90-minute session. And by defining these concrete minimums, you'll know when a session is successful once you've completed your lever moving task or once you've gotten that level of results that you set for yourself. And so, step 5 is just system maintenance, because any system requires some sort of maintenance, and you want to have like some sort of weekly review that prevents your polymath system from breaking down under life's inevitable pressures. What I do is schedule a 30-minute weekly review every Sunday, but you could do any other day if you please. And then I score my progress in each area from 1 to 10, identify which interest is gaining the most momentum, determine which interest needs the most support, and make at least one small adjustment to my system for the coming week. And this constant refinement ensures that your system evolves with you. So as you grow as a person, your little self improvement system will grow along with you. However, this 90-minute polymath system doesn't promise that you could do everything. But what it does promise is that you can pursue or at least explore multiple passions without the overwhelming guilt, frustration, and scattered results that come from trying to do everything without a system and being unorganized with your life and your like interests and goals, if that makes sense. And by embracing your multi-passion nature rather than trying to fight it, you'll discover that having multiple interests are not a liability that distracts you. They are actually your greatest asset that helps you focus and achieve more in your life. And that is pretty much everything for this video. I apologize for not posting for a whole month again, but I have a good reason this time. I'm actually going to be graduating high school soon. So I have been pretty busy with school, and I have been going out a lot just because I want to spend these last couple of moments with my high school friends. Really just enjoy the moment, these last moments I have. Like last Friday was my last ever like high school class. So this next upcoming week is just gonna be all graduation practice, rehearsal, things like that. I will probably do some videos on high school, like I don't know, uh, lessons I've learned, things I would have done differently. I don't know, just random knowledge that I could yap about for people going into high school or people that are currently in high school. Just because I want to do that and I want to reminisce or reminisce. Fuck, I don't know how to say that. But yeah, I will probably have some high school related content. So if you are an unk watching this, you could, I don't know, relive your high school memories. Oh, also, if you haven't noticed, I have a mic and the quality is probably better. And that's because I actually invested in film equipment. So, video qualities will be a lot better now. Really, I just need a good place to record because I can't really record in my household just because it's kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That's really the main reason why. It's embarrassing to record in front of my family. And two, because like I don't really have like the most like aesthetically pleasing recording area. If you go through my old videos and you look at my podcast summaries, like I was recording that shit in a shed. That's why it looks so messy. And no, I'm not like living in a tree house like what some people said. It's just we just have a lot of storage in that shed. So I'm just doing it in my car for now. I was thinking of making videos outside, but it's hella windy where I am, and my hair is going to be blowing everywhere. My voice will probably be all muffled and stuff. So I think the car is fine for now. Um, I'm just chilling in the back. You feel me? I had my script here posted up on the Mountain Valley spraying water. Um, but yeah, it's chill. I just spent my first paycheck on this camera. Oh, that's also another reason why I haven't been working or that I haven't been uploading because I've been busy with work. But yeah, I bought my first ever thing with my own money, which was a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, the creator combo. So videos will be fire in the future. So I don't know if you want to make the investment by subbing to my channel. I'd say make the investment now so you could be early to this come up. Because no, I don't know. All I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to be able to abuse the titles of I am a high schooler because I'm going to be in college now. And also that I got a new camera. So, yeah. Expect big things in the future from me. Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. I'm just manifesting this shit by saying it out loud. But yeah, that's it for this video. Um, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.